The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, has rolled out a plan to deploy the National Guard to New York City subways. Has nothing to do with crime, but everything to do with the Palestinian protests that have been happening every day in New York City. And to be able to understand this, you have to understand New York's long history with supporting the apartheid state of Israel. So the first time that I realized that New York had a huge role in the apartheid state of Israel was when I visited Hebron, which is a city inside the West Bank. This is a Palestinian city, and in the heart of the city is a Israeli Jewish settlement. In this city, that's where you really see the apartheid. I did an entire video on my YouTube channel. I highly suggest watching it. So when I entered Hebron, I visited the Ibrahimi Mosque, which is where the tomb of Abraham is buried. And the mosque is split in two. So there's a mosque and then it's a synagogue for the Israeli Jewish people. When I visited the Israeli Jewish side to visit the synagogue, I saw that they had all these flags on the walls. And it was like donated from, the Bernstein family, the Goldstein family from New York. Literally all of the flags that were on the wall of families that donated to, create this Israeli Jewish settlement were all from New York. And that's when I was like, wait a minute. Then I read this book, The Holocaust Industry, written by Norman Finkelstein. Listen, I tell everyone to read this book because, Norman Finkelstein packed it with receipts, okay? Norman Finkelstein pack this book with receipts. It's imperative that people read this book. But one part of this book that was really interesting was understanding New York's relationship with the apartheid state of Israel and how New York's has played a vital role in aiding the apartheid state of Israel with massive amounts of resources and money. This is the Division of Military and Naval Affairs. It is the New York National Guard State Partnership Program with the apartheid state of Israel. Here it says, New York has a multitude of cultural, economic, and academic ties to Israel. The deep relationship between New York State and the State of Israel has a very long history. As the American state with the largest Jewish population, there is a great interest and concern in New York regarding developments which impact on Israel's safety, security, and viability. The New York National Guard's relationship with Home Front Command was initiated in 2006 and has grown from there. The New York National Guard's official relationship with Home Front Command is a line of activity focused on civil support operations through the National Guard Bureau. I want you guys to understand that it is no coincidence that the governor of New York would deploy the National Guard to New York City subways during this time. This woman is a staunch Zionist. This woman had the audacity to go on TV and say, if Canada someday ever attacked Buffalo, I'm sorry, my friends, there would be no Canada the next day, right? Since October, we have been protesting almost every day against the genocide in Gaza, and the American mainstream media has not televised not one of those protests, including the really large ones that took place in DC. So it is very clear that the American media works closely with the American government because they have a agenda, and the agenda is to convince the American public to be pro-Israeli, just like they are, right? They want the American public to be okay with the genocide in Gaza because America is trying to convince the American public sooner or later, we will be at war in the Middle East again. And so they need the American public's permission, okay? At the end of the day, it is very imperative to understand that the American government still wants the support of the American people. All right. They don't want us protesting. They don't want a division between the people and the government, because then it becomes clear that the country is not actually free. They have to still keep up the aesthetic that we are a free and democratic country. OK, that's what America goes and invades country for, because they're trying to spread democracy. So it is very clear that the American government still wants the approval of the American public. And by this summer, it is it looks very much like America will be at war, right? And it's clear that all of our politicians are in line with this. In fact, all of our politicians are paid by AIPAC, Israel. This is an article written by commondreams.org. It says here, members of Congress who expressed more support for Israel during the first 6 weeks of its war on Gaza received $125,000 on average from pro-Israeli lobby groups. And guess who went on a solidarity mission to Israel on October 16th? Governor Kathy Hochul. Question everything.